Way back into the distant past, when Pete was like 15, he joined a mail-in movie club, 11 takes for pennies. And now cut to 2025, the movie club caught on to Pete's life, and now they want to punish him, so they trapped him in a room with a bunch of movie tapes. Pete didn't want to pay for the movies he got in the 90s. He'll have to watch random horror tapes and tell us about gore and probably some rape. Now keep in mind, Pete didn't pick. They use random numbers and a long list. He's got to get through every movie, one each day for the time we can't foresee. Helpful Snowman roll call. Anxiety. Grouchiness. Entropy. Snow. If you're wondering why he did this song and other FAQ facts, just shut up and listen to this show, or fuck it, take a nice nap. It's Helpful Snowman Podoween 2025.
Today from the dungeon, I bring you Balaao the demon. I think that's how it's said. Balaao? Balaooo. Balaooo. There's a bunch of vowels in it. Let's just call it Balaao. This is a weird one because it's kind of a lost film. I'm not really sure how this got put in the pile of punishment films for me, but it did. So I guess the good news is there are only 4 minutes of fragments that remain of this movie. It was originally only 28 minutes, so also mercifully short, and there are only 4 minutes left. Do you think it was because the movie was too scary? Let's just assume that, I guess. Okay, so it's kind of a shitty movie to watch. I mean, it was from 1913. There's only 4 minutes out of an entire movie, so you don't get much. But we do actually get to see Balaao. I mean, I guess one of the good things is, like, you know, if there was only 4 minutes surviving of Dracula, it could easily be a 4-minute chunk or several different chunks that don't even feature Dracula, right? So, you know, we do get to see Balaao, and there's some actually pretty inventive little sequences where the actor playing Balaao uses these bendy trees to sort of swing around. Balao's a monkey man, right? And we get to see him swinging around. He uses these bendy trees to, like, sort of, I don't know how you'd even put it, like belay down into scenes or something. It kind of seems like that's the only thing filmmakers came up with for him to do. But I mean, it's fucking 1913. It is a stunt. It looked kind of dangerous-ish. You know what I mean? I don't know. I have this perception that, like, well, if you broke a leg in 1913, it's like, well, he's done for. You know what I mean? He'll probably catch fever and then die pretty shortly. So very dangerous. But, you know, it's something. There's something in here at least. And at least there's evidence that they made a movie that had a thing going on. There was some kind of visual, physical action. So Balaao is based on a Gaston Leroux story of the same name, which we have a connection to here at Helpful Snowman because we did a Phantom of the Opera thing for a previous Podoween. If you missed that year, basically what you need to know is I think Phantom of the Opera, the book, is stupid bullshit. And I'm a little baffled by the book's popularity. I mean, I haven't seen the musical. I'm sure it's great. I haven't seen the movie. I assume it's probably also quite different from the book, but the book is kind of nuts. Like, I mean, it's very weird. It's like, it feels to me like Gaston Leroux had all these ideas that he just forgot about constantly. You know what I mean? There are characters kind of come in and out, and then you're like, well, I guess that guy's gone, you know, and it wraps up very quickly and in a very weird way. I don't know. I don't understand. And I'm like, maybe something's lost in translation of language or a time. I don't get it. I don't know why that caught fire. You know what I mean? What about Balaao, though? I'll read you the Goodreads description of it. Written by the author of The Phantom of the Opera and originally published in French in 1912, Balaao is the story of a monkey who is brought up by a scientist as a human, Mr. Noel. He is educated and can read and write and wears the latest Paris fashions. I like that wearing the latest Paris fashions is like in there, as if that's like a thing, because, you could dress a monkey in the latest Paris fashions, right? Like, he doesn't need to know how to read to wear Paris fashions. I'm sure there are many, many Nepo babies out there who are in that exact boat. I read part of a book review I want to include here as well. This is from thebedlamfiles.com. It basically said that this isn't Gaston Leroux's best work, and then says, quite simply, it's wildly disjointed and uneven, with a narrative that continually slips out of the author's control. The criminal band to whom Balaao is in thrall, for instance, play a huge part in the book's opening half, yet inexplicably sit out much of the latter, while Madeleine's dull bourgeois suitor Patrice, who exists only as a foil to Balaao, is given far too much face time. This is very much how I felt about Phantom of the Opera. I was like, I don't know, man, this seems like a hot mess. The racial implications of Balao's existence are another problem, elucidated in a manner that appears uninformed at best. It actually says uniformed, but I'm going to guess this meant uninformed, and outright racist at worst. And the primary reason I'm guessing that this novel is currently so little known. Okay, so maybe that's why this hasn't reached Phantom levels, because there's a racial implication here, or maybe what's a word that doesn't mean implication? Outright, as they say. Not racially implication, racism. Which, in 1912 France, I'm certainly not putting that past our old buddy Gaston Leroux. I don't know. It's possible he wasn't, but it seems possible he was. Where Balaao excels is in Leroux's oft spectacular set pieces, in which his penchant for the outrageous is given full rein. These include an unforgettable mid-book showdown between Balaao and some overzealous lawmen that's enlivened by the Pithenchrope's ability to communicate with forest animals who do his bidding in a brutal successions of captures and killings, and an even wilder interlude in which Balaao trains a fellow simian to impersonate human behavior. See, this is the kind of thing that makes me want to read that book, right? Because you're like, so he can like control animals, and he can like teach a gorilla or something to impersonate a human to a degree great enough that it seems to fool people. And you're like, all right, this sounds kind of awesome. Unfortunately, the climactic rooftop chase is related for some unfathomable reason through a succession of mock newspaper clippings, which dilutes the suspense considerably and closes the novel out on an unexciting note. So no, Balaao is hardly a masterpiece, but it definitely has its pleasures. I mean, I find that so hilarious. There's a writer, Harry Stephen Keeler, who's kind of famous for writing bad books, including a mystery novel wherein the mystery is the solution to the mystery is revealed in like a footnote as opposed to being like in the actual narrative, which is crazy. So it kind of seems like Gaston wrote Phantom and then didn't know what to do next. So he went like full 90s kids movie and immediately veered into monkey territory. He went most valuable primate, or most valuable primate, the skateboard one, or whatever that's called. I mean, it's okay. We've all done it. I mean, next year's Podoween, I'll just tell you right now, is going to be this same thing, but I'll have a monkey sidekick named Fish Fingers, who is constantly making a ruckus by violently attacking me. So anyway, the movie version of Balaao seems to be about the monkey man, and he's kind of like the book, forced to commit crimes somehow. And there's a big mystery based on how someone has been murdered, but there were no footprints around or something, which I guess, I don't know, back in the day, it's like, okay, I remember reading this book when I was a kid that was about how to like do a paranormal investigation. They wouldn't have called it that at the time, but And one of the things they suggested was if you put a light layer of like baking flour all over the carpet, then you would see any footprints if anyone had come in, right? So then you would know, oh, this is a person, not a ghost. And I was like, how fucking pissed would a parent be if you did that? Like, how pissed would your mom be if you like, so I put a thin layer of baking flour all over the carpet in my bedroom. I guess have fun trying to figure out how to clean that up without making it a more of a mess as opposed to less. My suggestion would be to basically just cut the carpet away from the wall, roll it up in a big thing, and young Pete doesn't have carpet anymore. He's lost carpet privileges, I'm afraid. So anyway, I guess footprints were the main way they busted murderers back then. And there are no footprints, but then they find footprints on the ceiling. And, you know, when we're talking about a book that's about a monkey man or a movie about a monkey man, and there are footprints on the ceiling, that's either a pretty open and shut case, or maybe I need to do some explaining about the various devices that I've taped together to annoy my upstairs neighbors as much as they annoy me. The poster is very funny as well. It's a lady just kind of looking dopey off to the side. And then what looks to be some kind of orangutan swinging down from a branch at her. And it says Balaao, the demon baboon, in 3 parts. I'm going to read you the poster. But just understand this looks like an insane Facebook post someone would make, or like email someone would send with some things are in all caps, some things are bolded, some things are underlined, some things are justified, some are centered. It's nuts. Here is the mystery feature sensation of the year. We know it will break all records. Be sure to get the big special herald giving the story in full and reproductions of the wonderful posters right today for yours. This fascinating tale of the weirdest animal ever created, this tragedy of the footprints on the ceiling, will jam any theater. If you want to get in on this, tremendous winner, write immediately to the New York office. This has real Donald Trump tweet energy. Like, if you want to get in on this, this tragedy of the footprints, all caps, on the ceiling, all caps, will jam any theater. This will jam any theater. It's weird. Like, it's kind of, well, first of all, it kind of gives away the whole mystery, right? The weirdest animal ever created in all caps, giant text. And the next thing in all caps, giant text is footprints on the ceiling. Well, I wonder who could have made those. What an amazing twist. But also, I've never seen, I guess, like, this poster seems to be talking to movie theater owners. Like, you know, it's going to break records and jam any theater. Like, that's for them, right? That's not for me as a potential movie goer. Like, do I care if there's a bunch of other people there? Maybe I do. I don't know. I'm just not familiar with posters that are for theaters as opposed to being movie goers, I guess. Like, where would these, if these are for theater owners, where do these posters go exactly? I mean, it also says, it makes a pretty wild claim that Balaao is the weirdest animal ever created. And that seems like a stretch. I mean, isn't it just a monkey in people clothes? I don't know, man. I mean, I guess maybe it was the weirdest monster on film at the time, but it's quite a claim. Let's just say that. So anyway, I also read a little bit on Gaston Leroux and read that he left journalism because he went to cover an erupting volcano, because I guess that's what you would do back in the early 1900s, is they'd be like, Gaston, there's a nobody covers volcanoes like Gaston. There's a volcano erupting. Get over there. Stat. And then he writes a thing that's like, yep, there was a volcano. And anyway, he covered the volcano. He gets home and has to immediately go on assignment again. So he was like, fuck this shit, and quit being a journalist. And I really wish his boss would have given him the week off. I mean, it would have saved me a lot of bad reads and boring movies, and would have saved a lot of people millions of dollars in Broadway tickets. I will say this about Gaston Leroux is he published Phantom of the Opera. He was around my age. So it is a proof, like a nice thing to think about that, you know, I still have time to crank out some horse shit that becomes beloved for reasons I cannot comprehend and sets my ship to sail or whatever. Whatever kind of things people say of makes me not miserable and a success of some kind. So today's rating scale, which I'm basing on the Phantom of the Opera's mask, a full mask being great, a half mask being half great, I'm going to give Balaao the rating of being the single thin strand of elastic that held on most Ben Cooper costume masks. Pretty thin, pretty shitty. Kind of causes more pain than it did pleasure.
Helpful Snowman Podoween 2025.